Hello and good morning. Right, so I've come out armed or dressed in the hoodie, and I didn't even need it. So now I've got it under my arm. The carer said it was cold. It isn't cold, it's actually quite humid. So I checked the weather forecast for today, and in doing so, I noticed that next week the temperature is gonna be, I think from Monday, 27 degrees for about 3 or 4 days. So the hoodie can go back into hibernation for now. Anyways, that's not what I'm here to talk about. I am here to talk about, actually I can't talk about that. I mustn't talk about that as much as it tempts me. So I'm going to talk about the media instead. I won't talk about the other people. Right, so I posted something on Facebook in the early hours while I was watching Alcaraz versus Lloyd Harrison. Very good match, 3 sets. Anyway, what transpired, it wasn't yesterday, so it would be the day before. Yeah, it was Wednesday when I came back from the studio. I received a letter from someone I care not to mention at this particular point, which led me to contacting a journalist that I've known for a few years now, with whom I've done some articles for the media. Anyway, a week or so prior to me contacting her, she contacted me about an article she was doing or wanting to do for a magazine, but she was looking for 2 women, one of whom has a jealous personality spirit, and the other who has never gotten over somebody who was in their life. I think I perhaps made a video and mentioned this before, but it's relevant to what I'm going to talk about. I'm talking about the media. So, anyway, so I turned that down because it wasn't me. And the thing is, I know she knew it wasn't me, but the thing with these people, they're happy to lie. They're happy to have people pretend to fit the profile just so they can get their article out, just so they can make money. It's literally like, I don't know, like, so, all right, the way I say it, or rather the way I frame it, it's like someone having a picture frame, and instead of finding a picture frame to match the size of the picture you have, you've got a picture frame that is a particular size, and the only picture that will do is the one that will fit that picture frame. So you're not looking for any other picture, or rather, instead of your starting point being the picture, and then you find a frame to match the right size, to match that picture. You have this frame, in other words, an agenda that the media has. So you have your agenda, and that's the one you're sticking to. Right, so anyway, I contacted her about the thing that I can't talk about. But I will eventually, and you're going to find it quite hilarious, especially when I tell you what I did in response to receiving this letter. Right, so I told her about it, and instead of hearing the story, all right, let me digress slightly. I could be in the media anytime I want, just by inventing lies. Right, I could do that, inventing lies that are appealing to the media. Anyway, let me get back to what I was saying. So rather than hear out what I'm saying, she began by telling me, because what it was, I asked her if she could put me in touch with an investigative journalist, because she's been in the business for many, many years. So, people know people. And what she said was, you need to do this, this, this. Don't bother sending me all of the information, because they're not interested in that. And they want to see happy pictures, even though the situation I'm describing doesn't call for happy pictures. But they already have the script that they want delivered to the general public. That's how they do news. So when you see these supposed human interest stories, they go out looking for people. They have an idea of what they're looking for. I've done quite a few of those articles in the newspaper. I did one, I think I was 44 at the time, so that's 13 years ago. I did one for the Daily Mail, and it's 9 women who are all the same age. Can you tell who's the oldest and who's the youngest? What am I talking about? Looking at them, they're all the same age or something. Can you guess the age? Something to do with that. And then I did that, and there was, from the back of that, a magazine contacted me, Look magazine, I believe. And they wanted to do a similar article. Can you guess who's the youngest, who's the oldest? Right, so the media has only ever been interested in me because of how I look. Right, so here is why, well, it's not the reason why I go to the gym, but because how you look in the media matters. When I say matters in the media, I'm talking about to the audience. So if, like me, you have very strong opinions and an article should appear about you, I'm going to give you an example in a second. The first thing people are going to go for is your looks. Look how she looks. She's this, she's that, she's whatever. I say to people, the battle is won if you're sort of like, if you've got different opinions. Like I said, I've got very strong opinions. If your opinions are such that people are going to want to attack you, the first thing they're going for is how you look. If they cannot attack how you look, you've won. Right? Because that's how people do arguments nowadays. They don't challenge what you've said. They challenge how you look. I'll give you an example. There's a man. His name is Matthew Steeples. You can Google him. And he's in a spat, an ongoing spat with one of Bernie Ecclestone's daughters. And he's called a man. He's like, I think he's 5'2", and he's married to a woman who's nearly 6 feet tall, much younger than him. And Matthew Steeples, which I found it funny actually, called Bernie Ecclestone a coffin dodger. So this was in the Daily Mail, because I sometimes listen to him on YouTube when he's live streaming. It's in the Daily Mail, and one comment was that he looks like Rocky Dennis from The Mask. If you know, you can Google Rocky Dennis or The Mask. It's a film with Cher. So basically they're saying his head is big like Rocky Dennis's head. You can't change the shape of your head or the size of your head. So you have to be made of stern stuff if you're gonna go in the media and express your views in that way, as he does. So he doesn't actually care. He knows that he's not the world's most attractive, and so he's not bothered. So that's the other thing. If you're not bothered about what people say about how you look, then you're okay. So anyway, let me go back to what I was saying. So this woman, she's a black woman, she said, oh, the media's not going to touch it. Even though what I'm saying is it's not a good story, it's a true story. And it is something that, it is actual news. But anyways, the media won't touch it unless you do it this way. Nobody's going to read more than this, so no point sending that. And you got to send these pictures. If you send this, if you do it like how I'm telling you to do it, one of the newspapers will pick it up. I politely declined, and that in itself, I posted this morning on Facebook that when you're dealing with authority types, you should gather evidence against them and use it should they perform their duties with incompetence. So every communication I have with authority types, such as the social worker, my sister's social worker, I make sure I gather evidence and I log it for future use. So when the time comes, because the media will eventually collapse, that will be, I've got many stories to tell about the dirty ways the dirty, dishonest ways that the media, journalists gather their stories, that they literally sit there and they're looking to make money. So some kind of brief goes out and they go chasing after it to write their own version of that story. So that's why often you see many times I married an Egyptian toy boy 40 years younger than me type thing. You see so many of those because apparently they're very popular with the readership. Anyway, I've arrived at the gym, so I'm going to say goodbye. Have a nice day. Look after yourselves. Take care. Bye-bye.